Please confirm in chat box. Akanksha, I'm unmuting you. Please tell me, am I audible? Hello?
Hello?
Am I audible, Akanksha?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Please then put in chat box na, so that I can start. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So we will move ahead with our discussion, which we have left in the last, I think, tutorial. Okay. So there I have explained you what is vector addition and vector multiplication, or we can say how the operations are performed on vector space or vector. That is two operations are there, addition and scalar multiplication. Okay. So these are three properties. Okay. Of scalar, you can say. I will show you the full screen. Okay. Yes. Okay. Now it's, I think it is visible. And these are properties of vector addition and scalar multiplication. Okay. So these properties are the very important properties, and these properties are called axioms while defining a vector space. Okay, while defining the vector space, these properties only will be called as axioms, and obviously these we can say 10 axioms need to be proved or satisfied to call any space as a vector space. Okay, so we will I'll defining these properties, the same properties with the same sequence we are going to come across in case of definition of vector space. Okay, so instead of seeing these properties right here, we will discuss them in while discussing the definition of vector space. Okay, so um, obviously the if we know vector addition and multiplication, then these are very few simple examples. Standard vector operations in R4, let's say. So obviously R4 is there, so every vector will be having four components. Every vector will be having four components. So that's why let's say u is defined like this. Okay, u is defined like this, v is defined like this, 4 3 1 minus 1, and w is minus 6 2 0 3. Obviously these three are the vectors in R4. Okay, so solve x for each of the following cases. This is the example. So we have to find the value of x in both these parts, that is part A and part B. So basically this is nothing but vector addition and multiplication, but still depending on the identities in the previous slide, which we are going to discuss as axioms in definition of vector space. So depending on that, very simple operation is there. So 2u, x is equal to 2u minus in bracket v plus 3w is there. Okay. So minus can be represented by minus 1. Okay. This minus sign can be represented by minus 1. How we can do this? How we can do this? Because if u is the vector, then scalar multiplication of that vector u by c will be cu, and if the value of c is minus 1, because c can be any real number, no? That's why c can be any real number. That's why we can have minus 1 because minus 1 is a real number. That's why. So minus 1 into v plus 3w. So we can write this as 2u minus v minus 3w. So obviously this is the distributive property of scalar multiplication, okay, over vector addition. So distributive property we can see here, okay, distributive property of scalar multiplication. In property number 7, c in bracket u plus v can be written as cu plus cv. So this is distributive property over vector addition, we can say, okay. So same step is or same property is used here, okay. So we will directly put the values now. So 2u, so u is 2 minus 150, so it will become 4 minus 2, 4 minus 2, 10 and 0. Minus v will be as it is, so 4 3 1 minus 1, and minus w, okay, sorry, minus 3w, okay. So minus 6 will be minus 18, 2 will be 6, and 0 will be 0, and 3 will be 9, okay. So these are some basic operations. So obviously vector addition is there, so vector addition and subtraction is there, so that component will be directly added or subtracted. So 4 minus 4 plus 18 is there, okay. Minus 2 minus 3 minus 6 is there, 10 minus 1 0, and 0 plus 1 minus 9. So eventually very simple example is this, and 18 minus 1 9 and minus 8, this will be the vector, this will be the result of the vector when we perform this operation and we find x. So x will be 18 minus 11 9 and minus 8, okay. Now the second example is 3x plus 3w equal to 2u minus vx plus x. So on the next slide we are having that example as solved example, but here we can directly use which properties we can use. So 3x plus w is, we can write down it as 3x plus 3w. So this is the vector, we can say a scalar multiplication over vector addition, scalar multiplication over vector addition. 2u minus v plus x, 2u minus v plus x, okay. So we will go to the next slide and see. Yes, so 2u minus v plus x, and by rearranging, since we need to find x, so we will put x on the left hand side and everything on the right hand side, and using the same things we can directly find out the solution. So I think you can observe this within 30 seconds. Very simple example is this, okay. So 2x equal to 2u minus v minus 3w, and if we want to find out x, then we have to divide on both sides by 2. So u minus half v minus 3 by 2 w, and using the u, v and w values given in the example, we can find out what is the value of vector x in this case, okay. So why these examples are there, why we have seen this example very quickly, because we need to be aware of how vector addition and scalar multiplication are being performed on any given vector, okay. Are you getting this? So shall we move ahead? Please confirm if the purpose of these examples is understood by you, then we can move further on next slides. Please confirm. So next part will be obviously the notes, means we have to take note of from these two examples. Zero vector 0 in Rn is called additive identity. I will be explaining additive identity and additive inverse in few minutes, okay. Because while these axioms we are seeing the 10 axioms, every axiom needs to be satisfied by your vector space, then and then only by your given space, then and then only we will call that space as a vector space. So these identities will be discussed, obviously the properties of additive identity and additive inverse. These properties are the axioms only, okay. So these properties are axioms only. So I can say, we can what we can do here, we will discuss it here itself, and then we will go to the definition part of vector space. So in the, while understanding the definition, you will be getting these concepts very clear, okay. So obviously zero vector 0, I have told you in last tutorial, I think. So whenever zero vector is represented in our course, we will be representing it by bold 0. Okay, in bold, we can say letter 0 is written. Okay, so this 0 is in bold. So this is called a 0 vector. Okay, and obviously I have told you about the 0 vector that it is having 0 magnitude and it is not having any direction. So this was the 0 vector that we have seen in previous tutorial. And what is the I have told you that I will be explaining the why it is, though it is having 0 magnitude, after adding that 0 vector with any vector, the same vector we will be getting. Okay, so though it is not making any change or it is not having any direction in your vector space, but still it is very very important vector that should be in your vector space. Okay, and if that 0 vector is not, please remember, if that 0 vector is not present in your vector space, we cannot call that space as a vector space. So this is all depending on the identity, the, which is called additive identity. How we can say the 0 vector is getting, or 0 vector is existing in your vector space? This is defined by the additive identity. And additive identity, what is the additive identity that we are going to discuss now? The 0 vector 0 in Rn is called additive identity in Rn. Okay, see property 4. The property 4, number 4, which they have um, given. Okay, vector property 4. Okay, so this is called additive identity property. U plus 0 is equal to u. So that's why that's what we have discussed in previous tutorial, that if we add that 0 vector with any vector u, the resultant vector will be the same vector, that is vector u. Okay, since it is not having any direction, we can visualize this. If 0 vector is 0 vector is means simply dot. Okay, and according to the vector addition that we have seen, if one vector is added to the second vector, then second vector we put on the, we can say, head, the tail of the second vector we put on the head of the first vector, and then using parallelogram law or different laws, we find out the resultant vector. Okay, that is the vector addition basically. So if 0 vector is having, not sorry, it is not having any magnitude, and if it is not having any direction, so it is nothing but just a point. It is nothing but just a point. So if that point is kept on the head of first vector, that is u, so it is not making any change to that vector u. And obviously since it is not having any direction, so it is also not changing the direction of vector u. That's why u plus 0 will be equal to u, and this is called additive identity property. Okay, this is called additive identity property. And if you want to make it a statement of additive identity, then we can say that when 0 vector is added to any vector, result is always the same vector. This will be the this can be a statement of the 0 vector, or in this way we can define the 0 vector. And obviously, so 0 is identity vector under which operation, we will say, please put in chat box. So 0 is identity vector under dot dot operation. Which operation, please tell me? So 0 is identity vector in which operation? I know you must have, yes, correct, Nikita. Why I'm asking? Because you I think you just had your lunch, and while concentrating on in the lecture, it is quite challenging task. So we need to be very interactive. That's why I am asking you. So next is we can say, uh, so in this way the additive identity is defined. Okay, so whenever I'll say additive identity, you should remember that 0 vector is existing. If any vector space is satisfying the additive identity property, then we will say that it is the vector space is having 0 vector. Okay, uh, next will be uh, the vector minus u is called additive inverse. Now please see why this minus u is very important to us. Okay, the vector minus u is called the additive inverse, okay, of u, additive inverse of u. Now how to define minus u, that we have already seen while explaining the scalar multiplication, and why the term scalar is there, because it is scaling your original vector. That's why we call that operation as scalar multiplication. Okay. So if that vector, sorry, if that scalar is any letter called C, if C is any we can say scalar which is having which can have any value between or we can say which can have any value out of all the real numbers. Okay, out of all the real numbers. So C can be any real number. So C can be obviously a -1 because -1 exists on real number line and -1 is a real number. So minus u can be written as -1 into u. Okay, -1 can be written as -1 into u, and so it is having the same magnitude as your u, but exactly in opposite direction. Okay, exactly in opposite direction. So if u is in this direction, if u is in this direction, then minus u will be in obviously it is in exactly opposite direction. Okay, but the magnitude will be the same. Okay, but the magnitude will be same considering the length of both my fingers is same. You can consider that both of these vectors are having same magnitude. Okay, so uh, in other words we can say that minus u is just additive inverse of u. Okay, additive inverse of u, it is having the exactly opposite direction to that of u. Okay, so since we can say uh, there exists additive inverse of u which is called minus u. So these are the two basic properties, additive identity and additive inverse. Okay, so which are very helpful while understanding what is vector space. Okay, so and the rest of the properties we will be discussing we can say in okay actually um, one more concept is there, linear combination, which we will deal in next point in very detail. But I will be just introducing that I can say uh, term, that is linear combination. Okay. So what do you mean by linear combination? Okay. So linear combination in Rn, the vector is called I can say vector is called a linear combination of v1 v2 up to vn if it can be expressed in the form, x is equal to c1 v1 plus c2 v2 up to cn vn, where c1 and c2 up to cn are real numbers. So please observe this equation. Okay, what is that equation? X will be called as linear combination of v1 v2 up to vn. So there are different, or we can say n number of vectors called v1 v2 up to vn, and we can say that uh, x is a vector which is in linear combination of all these vectors, of all these n vectors, if when we can say this, if x is equal to c1 v1 plus c2 v2 plus dot 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 up to cn vn. So it means that uh, it is the vector x, components of vector x can be expressed in the form of scalar multiples of all the vectors n, all the n vectors we can say. So if vector is x is having all the components which are scalar multiples of n vectors, that is v1 to vn, then we say that x is a linear, x is in a linear combination of v1 v2 up to vn. Are you getting this point? Okay, so very simple example is given to just to get the feel of uh, what do you mean by the linear combination. Okay, linear combination. So you in general you just have to imagine if Rn space is there. Okay, Rn space is there, and what do you mean by Rn? Can you tell me what do you mean by Rn? Can anybody tell me what is the meaning of Rn? Since we are going to study the definition of vector space, you should be knowing what is Rn. And depending on, we can say, or the from our discussions in previous lectures or previous sessions, I think Rn I have explained. So can anybody tell me? Yes, in ordered tuple, correct. Anything in other words? What is Rn? I have explained you. Okay. I have also put the video lectures that we have conducted in our Google Classroom group. Okay. And the examples can be given as like this also. Okay. So I am typing in chat box a plus let's say 2b is equal to let's say c. Okay, and please see the chat box. Okay, a plus 2b equal to c. So if a, b, and c are are present in let's say vector space V, then vector C is called in linear combination of two vectors, that is vector A and B. Since it can be since the components of vector C can be expressed as a linear combination or as a scalar multiple of the components in vector A and vector B. That's why we say that C is in linear combination to the vectors A and B. Okay, so I think you are knowing what is Rn, but you are not able to answer, or you don't want to answer. So moving forward, so this, as I said, this example is very we can say basic type example. So x is there, u is there, v is there. Okay, and I can say w is also given to you. And while uh, uh, study while what we have to do, find a, b, and c such that x is equal to au plus bb plus cw. Okay, so what we will do, u, v, and w, we will write the coefficients of u, v, and w, because since see these are the vectors only. Okay, so 0 minus we can say find a, b, c such that au, b, v plus cw. That's why we have multiplied all the components by a, b, and c to every vector. So 0 a, it will be 0. So then minus for vector v, minus 1 is there, so minus b is there. Okay, plus 3c. Okay, plus 3c. 3 is the first element in w. 3 is first element in w, is equal to minus 1 is there, is equal to what, minus 1 is there. Now minus 1 is there means what, since x is equal to, we have written na, so equal to x components we have put minus 1, minus 2, and minus 2. So right hand sides of all the equations will be minus 1, minus 2, and minus 2 respectively. And minus b plus 3c, a plus b plus c. How we can do this, a plus b plus c, second element in each vector, 1, 1, and 1. So that's why a plus b plus c is equal to minus 2. And third vector, third component in every, we can say, vector is we have put is minus 2, 4, we can say, no sorry, 4, 2, and 2, 4, 2, and 2. So 4a plus 2b plus 2c equal to minus 2. If we try to solve these equations by using any method, we can solve, but using any one of the method, we will get a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 2, c is equal to minus 1. And hence we can say that x is equal to u minus 2v minus w, such that, correct? Are you getting this? Very simple example to which is showing as the linear, we can say, as the example given by me, a plus 2b is equal to c, like this. X is equal to u minus 2v minus w. So x is in, so at the end of this example, what we can say, x is a in linear combination of u, v, and w. Since components of x can be expressed as a scalar multiples of vectors u, v, and w. And which are those scalar multiples? In case of u, it is 1. In case of v, it is minus 2. And in case of w, it is minus 1. Okay. So I think you are getting this concept of linear combination. Okay. And depending on this concept, please take note of it. Depending on this concept, there will be one term, linear independency, in case of solving matrices. Matrices means what? Matrix equations. In if we are representing any vector space in the matrix form, then how to, we can say, say that two vectors in particular vector space are linearly dependent or independent of each other. So in that case, what we will do, we will check for directly linear combination. So what is the whether one vector is dependent on another, uh, in the sense of whether it is a scalar multiple, whether first vector is scalar multiple of second vector. If first vector is scalar multiple of second vector, then we will say that these two vectors are linearly dependent vectors, because there exists some scalar c, which is dictating their relationship. Okay, which is dictating their relationship. But if we cannot express any vector as a scalar multiple of other vector, then we will say that they are linearly independent. They are linearly independent. So such concepts will be based on this linear combination concept. Okay, so this will be studied in, I think, chapter 3 or 4. Okay. Obviously, transformations operations are also there. So using these linear combinations and linear dependency and independency, we will be solving such examples. So this is the part of further units. But for now, so these were the keywords. Okay, as you can see on your screen, ordered n tuple, Rn space. We can say when two vectors are equal. This we have seen. Vector addition we have seen. Scalar multiplication we have seen. What is zero vector we have seen. We have seen additive identity. We have seen additive inverse. Okay, and we have seen linear combination. Now if you know all these concepts, or if you are familiar with all these terms, then there is no problem to study which space we call as which space we call as a vector space. Okay, so we will directly go into the vector spaces. This is the name of your unit, and examples of vector spaces that we are going to cover in this lecture. Okay, so vector spaces, there are n number of definitions. Okay, so I will be discussing one or two or three definitions uh, we can discuss. So all the definitions are saying the same, and while only one definition I have put in front of you, or in next slide another definition is also there, and we can, if you want, I will be discussing the third definition also, so that repetitively we will be discussing the same content. And the concept of vector space, that is which space to be called as vector space, will be understood by you in very much detail. Okay, so as you can see on your screen, I think vector spaces is visible to you. And please confirm that my voice and my screen is visible to you. Voice is audible and my screen is visible, because this is very important part from this unit. That's why I'm asking. Please confirm. Hello, please confirm that my voice is audible to you and my screen is visible. Yes. So vector spaces, okay, let V be a set on which two operations? Which two operations? Please see, in the first line of this definition itself, the two operations we have seen are different. The operations are addition and scalar multiplication. That's why we have seen the vector addition and scalar multiplication. Now you know what is vector addition and scalar multiplication. Let's say vector V is there, or V be a set of vectors on which two operations, addition and scalar multiplications, are defined. Okay, if the following 10 axioms are satisfied for every element, okay, which axioms? The axioms which we are going to study now, in number of 10, that is 10 axioms are there. If these 10 axioms are satisfied for every element in V, which elements we can say in general U, V, and W. Let's say for a element is there U, V, and W, and these are lying in V, and every scalar, which are the values of scalar C and D. Obviously the scalars are real numbers. Okay, obviously the scalar can take any value from your real number set. Okay, so C and D, then V is called vector space. And the elements in V are called vectors. Please remember this definition. This is very standard definition. So only four quantities are there. Please remember, only four quantities are there. म्हणजे means basically you are having four quantities. Which four quantities are there? You are having a set V on which two operations are there: scalar addition, vector addition, and scalar multiplication. So three components are there, and if let's say there is one more scalar C is there in your we can say vector space definition. So basically only four things are there. Okay, so depending on these four things, or checking these four things, we will say that given space is vector space or not. Okay, and which are these 10 axioms? Okay, uh, these are the things only on which the vector space's definition is dependent on. But the 10 axioms that needs to be satisfied, 10 axioms that needs to be satisfied are given mostly by the rules that we have seen the rules that we have seen, the properties of vector addition, and we can say the properties of scalar multiplication. Okay, so in previous slides we have seen properties of vector addition and properties of let's say this. So these I have already told you, these 10 axioms only, sorry, these 10 properties of vector addition and scalar multiplication only will be given to you as 10 axioms, and those 10 axioms needs to be satisfied by every space to call that space as vector space. Okay, so on your screen, if you see till property number 5, you are having properties of vector addition, and rest properties, that is from property number 6 to property number 10, you are having uh, the properties of scalar multiplication. Okay, so here in where the vector space has been defined and where the 10 axioms are given, in the first we can say addition properties are given. So first 5 properties are of addition properties. So please, one by one or line by line, I'll be explaining you what are these properties. And after, please remember, every time we don't have to check whether given space is satisfying all these 10 axioms or not. Okay, I will be telling you very few 3 to 4 axioms that needs to be satisfied, and if these three, let's say, axioms are satisfied, then all the 10 axioms will be satisfied by 99.99% of the spaces. Okay, and obviously the the example asked to you in exam will be among these vector spaces also. Very few exceptions are there to this rule, and that exceptions will be I think those exceptions will be are very rare exceptions. That's why uh, most of the vector spaces will be following this thumb rule. Okay, so I'll be discussing that thumb rule also. But please see the first property, u plus v is in v. Let's say, okay, again and again we will again go to the definition. If the following 10 axioms are satisfied, out of which first axiom is u plus v is in v, then I'll be asking you then again, what is u? U is any element in a set v. Okay, v, what is v? V is also any element in set v. Okay, v means small v, and set v means capital V. Okay, that you have to understand. So if u plus v means what? If these are the two elements, or we can say that, and the elements in V are called vectors. Na? Last line, please see. And the elements in V are called vectors. Okay. So if this is true, then u and v are the vectors from vector space capital V. Okay. Now, so u plus v will be what? Vector addition. U plus v will be then what? Vector addition. And it is necessary, the condition is necessary that the result of this vector addition should also lie in vector space V. The result of this vector addition should also lie in vector space V. Are you getting this? Okay. Then, so this is very important. Out of those 3 axioms, the important axiom, this is first axiom. So this axiom, if there is example in your exam, let's say, and it is asking you that, suppose given space is called vector space or not, then what you will do? First axiom that you will check is this axiom. That is, u plus v, whether u plus v is in capital V or not. Are you getting this? Please confirm. Are you getting this? In chat box, please confirm, dear students, so that we can move forward with the remaining exams, and we have to see the examples also. Hello, are you there? Okay, so u plus v is in V. Okay, so this is understood. Then next is the order of vector addition is not important. So second axiom is telling us that whether you add u plus v or whether you add v plus v. Okay, whether you perform u plus v or whether you perform v plus v. So this is commutative law. In general, it is called as commutative law. So commutative, the vector addition is commutative. You can directly say. Okay, so in vector basics, in let's say school mathematics or high school mathematics, you must have seen this. Okay, so u plus v is equal to v plus u. These properties should be, or this property also should be satisfied by your space to call it as vector space. Then third is associative law. You can say associative law in vector addition. We can say so u plus in bracket v plus w is equal to u plus v in bracket plus w. You can observe on screen the third property. Okay, so if the both the results are same, then we can say that given space is so given space is satisfying this axiom also. Okay, so let's say the fourth is V has a zero vector. Obviously, I have told you now number of times that zero vector will be represented by bold 0. So V has a zero vector 0 such that for every u in V, such that for every u in V, u plus 0 is equal to 0. This is the, I think from my point of view, this is the third most important axiom that we have to always check, to say whether given space is vector space or not. Okay, and so in this slide only we are coming to know out of 3 to 4 important axioms among the 10 axioms, which are two very important axioms. So first one is u plus v should be in V, and second one is V has a zero vector 0 such that for every u in V, u plus 0 is equal to 0. And this we have seen as, please tell me the name, u plus 0 is equal to u. This we have seen as under the name in this lecture only. Please tell me in chat box. This we have seen. I'm pointing by mouse. U plus 0 equal to u. This we have seen under the name of please confirm in chat box. Only few students are giving answers, and whether what about others? Let me check the participant list first. Okay, so what rest of the people are doing what? You all attendees. Abhishek Zado, Amol, Prerna, Rishikesh. Guys, please respond, because what is happening, you know my way of teaching. Okay, I am fond of means asking the questions. Okay, because yes, Siddharth, yes, correct. Amol, correct. Okay, so additive identity, under that name we have seen this u plus 0 is equal to u. Okay, so this is the second most important axiom. So next is fifth is for every u in V. Now I think you are getting u, v, or w are the elements in V, elements in set V, and if all these axioms are getting true or satisfied this vector space, this set V, then we call that V, capital V, as vector space, and the elements u, v, w we call as vectors. Okay, so in number of times we have read this. So that's why I am directly describing the properties, or we can say axiom. For every u in V, there is a vector in V denoted by minus u, such that u plus minus u is equal to 0. And please remember that if 0 is not satisfied if zero vector identity, or we can say additive identity, or we can say mm, uh, yes so and if this identity is not satisfied, or if this axiom is not satisfied, if fourth axiom is not satisfied, then fifth axioms cannot be satisfied. Please remember, and please remember, because there should be means u plus minus u will be having answer zero vector, but when zero vector is existing in your vector space, then and then only we can say the result of u plus minus u will be zero vector na. But if there is no zero vector, then you cannot say that answer of u plus minus u is zero. Okay, so that's why I said that second most important your axiom is this, which the fourth one. Okay, so fifth one is also understood, I think. Then we will move on to the next slide. And next is scalar multiplication. Obviously, the the five axioms are given by addition operation, and the next five axioms are given by scalar multiplication. Okay, so sixth one is very very important, second most important. Okay, first most important is u plus v should be in v. Second most is u plus 0 is equal to u, and the third most we can say cu is in v. Okay, or this can be put as a second in order. So if you multiply the element u in set capital V by any scalar c, then the result should exist in capital V. Then the result should exist in capital V. That is vector space V. Okay. Uh, After seeing the definitions or definition, we will be going to the example. Okay. So C of u plus v is equal to cu plus cv. C of u plus v is equal to cu plus cv. This is, we can say, a distributive law or a distributive property under scalar multiplication. Then c plus d of u is equal to cu plus du plus du. Then next is c to du, so it is commutative law. Ninth one is commutative law of scalar multiplication. Okay, are you getting this? Seventh one is I can say distributive. Eighth one I can say associative. Ninth one is associative. Okay, and the last one is 1 into u is equal to u will be called as we can say scalar multiplication identity. Directly it is called as scalar multiplication identity, because there exists a vector called 1 by multiplying as you have seen as we have seen the uh, u plus 0 is equal to 0, correct? So this is called additive identity. Likewise, 1 into u equal to u is called scalar multiplication identity. Okay, scalar multiplication identity or multiplication identity for that sake. And it tells us that if you multiply any vector by 1, so the same vector we will be getting. Okay, like if we add the 0 vector in any vector, then the same vector we will get. Same in the similar words or similar fashion, we can describe this scalar multiplication identity. Okay, and obviously this type of definition is called abstract definition, because abstract collection of properties from space Rn. Okay, abstract collection of properties. Which are those properties? 5 properties are given by vector addition, or we can say addition, and 5 properties are given by your scalar multiplication. So if these 10 properties or 10 axioms are getting satisfied by your space, then collectively we will call that space as a vector space. So this is the definition of vector space. And we can say, as I told you in first lecture itself, please remember Rn. Okay, Rn is a very premier example of vector space. Rn is a very premier example of vector space. Okay, and we can conclude that Rn is of course a vector space. That's why I have already told you while describing or while defining the space Rn. Why? And now you will be getting, we can say, you will be getting the idea why Rn is we can say a premier example of vector space. And before going to the examples, I just feel that for Rn itself, we will prove these axioms. We will try to check these axioms. Okay. So we'll come to the first axiom. Okay. So what is Rn? Rn is a n ordered list of all the real numbers. Okay, n ordered list. Okay, n ordered means what? You have seen the definition of tuple. So in that case, we have seen that ordered list of, we can say, n elements is called tuple. And if and the components of that, we can say, tuple are given by real numbers, and hence we are getting the space as Rn. Okay, Rn. So please tell me whether are you means uh, from the list of these five axioms, which axiom will not be satisfied by this Rn. So Rn is what? What do you have to imagine as Rn? Rn is the list of every real number that is existing in this world. Okay, every real number that is existing in this world. So every element from that Rn is forming a vector, and total space is called vector space. That's why we say that Rn is a premier example of vector space. Okay, premier, that we can say the very popular example of your vector space. So u plus v in v, take any two numbers. Now how to check the axioms, I will tell you now. Take any two numbers from that, any two real numbers from that real number set, and please add it. Please add those numbers, and please see that whether the result is existing in set of real numbers or not. So obviously, if Rn is including your all the real numbers from in the world, then addition of any two real numbers will be the having the result which is existing already in your space Rn, that is vector space Rn. Okay, u plus v, v plus u obviously will be getting satisfied. Associative law will also be getting satisfied. Okay, commutative law will be also getting satisfied. Okay, now please tell me, if I add u minus u, or v, we can say, if I add u or any element with 0, 0 is obviously a real number also. Okay, it is existing in real number also. So 0 is a real number, and if I add, let's say I have taken minus 3 plus 0. So minus 3 is real number, 0 is real number, and I am getting the result as minus 3. Minus 3 is also a real number. So that is, we can say that property 4 is also getting satisfied. Then obviously, if I add 3 and minus 3, so it is getting 0. The result is getting 0. So we can say that property number 50 is also getting satisfied. In the same way, you can we can check the property 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, whether these properties are getting satisfied by your space Rn. So please remember, every property which is required to be satisfied by vector space is satisfied by this vector space Rn. That's why we called as Rn as a vector space. Are you getting this? Please confirm, then we will move on to the examples. Are you getting this? Okay, I want answers from other people also. Okay. Saurabh is not there today. And this reminds me that I have to take your attendance also. Since you are having since we are having very limited batch, we can directly note down what are the students present today. Okay. Okay, I think you are getting the definition. Huh? Please confirm, dear students. I think you are getting the definition. 3 to 5, and here we are having 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 4 absent. So I'll be noting that. So please tell me whether you are getting the definition. Yes. Now we will move ahead. So have you understood that why Rn is a primary example of vector space? Okay. So this is another definition. This is another definition. Okay. So this is, we can say, very simple definition. A vector space is a collection uh, V of vectors and two operations, which are two operations for addition and scalar multiplication, such that the following hold true for every described quantity, which is for that quantity u comma v comma w should be in v. That the we have just in previous definition we have just put in words and they have given it by notations. That is the difference. That is the only difference. So always please remember that whenever you will come across standard material, the sequence in which the properties are given or axioms are given will be always same. Please remember. You can take any standard book. Okay, you can take Gilbert Strang, you can take Kumarasena book, and every book you will see, or you can take David Seeley book also. So in that, or in these all the standard books, the sequence of all the axioms will be the same. Okay. If you want to check, then you can check. The last property was multiplicative identity. So scalar multiplication identity. So 1 into u equal to u. So this is also 1 into u. That is the 10th axiom. Okay. So we will see the nodes. So as I have described to you, a set of vectors, a set of real numbers, and two. There are four entities now. A set of vectors, a set of real number scalars, and two operations. These four quantities or entities constitute your vector space V. Okay, vector space V. Okay, obviously the C is there also. So C is any scalar. Okay, and the set V together with definitions of vector addition and scalar multiplication satisfying the 10 axioms that we have studied is called a vector space. Is called a vector space. So please remember and note this point down if you are having pen and paper, that to say any space is not a vector space, we need to the space given need to only we can say dissatisfy only one axiom out of these 10 axioms. So only if only one axiom is not getting satisfied by the given space, then we will say that if say 9 axioms are getting satisfied out of 10 and only one axiom is not getting satisfied, then also we will say that given space is not a vector space. Please remember this point. So in exams, if you are given the exam, if the examiner is asking you to state whether the given space is vector space or not, okay, so you have to just check for the three important axioms. First one is u plus v should be in capital V. Second one is c into u should be in capital V, and the third one is there should be always a zero vector present in your vector space, and that zero vector is given by the additive identity. Okay, so if these three properties are satisfied, then 99.99% of the spaces are called as vector spaces, because remaining seven axioms are the we can say the part of these three axioms. Okay, if these three axioms are getting satisfied, then the seven must be getting satisfied in most of the cases. In most of the cases, there are very few rare exceptions are there. Okay, so I'll be getting to the next slide. So n-tuple space, matrix space, these are the, we can say, these are the these spaces are defined once we understand it, what are the vector spaces. Okay, so these are four examples. The first is n-tuple space Rn that we have already seen now, that I have described you how to check whether Rn space Rn is vector space or not by giving the example. The next is matrix space. Matrix space V is equal to m of the order m by n, of the order m by n, m rows and n columns. Let's okay. So example is m is equal to n is equal to 2. Let's say, so it is, we can say that if if these two vectors u1, these two matrices u11, u12, u21, u22, v11, v12, v21 and v22 are closure, we can say are closure under the vector addition. If the if you read any standard book na, then there will be a statement. If vector addition is getting satisfied, then there will be a statement called it is closed under vector addition. If the scalar multiplication property is getting satisfied, then it is said that it is closed under scalar multiplication. So closed under means what? It is satisfying that property. Okay. So such statements will come across in while reading the books. Okay. So n degree or less polynomial space. I think my time is over. Let me check. Okay. Yes. So what is next? You are having what? Your which lecture you are having now? Just tell in chat box. I think you are having busy schedule next. Okay. So this concludes our lecture. We will see the examples in next lecture. We will see different types. We can say how the given set is called as a vector space. Okay, and which set will be not called as vector space, that we also see. So mixed bag of examples we will see in tomorrow's lecture. Okay, and from that you will be knowing how to come to know that whether given space is vector space or not, and such type of examples can be expected in your exam. Okay, so I'll be please let me know all the attendees and panelists. So I'll be noting down your attendance. Okay. Okay, so you can continue with your rest of the sessions. So I'll be signing off from this class, from this session.